Dispatch has been updated. Dispatch received.
How you folks doing? Hello. You guys gonna build?
Are we what?
You guys gonna build?
Oh, nah. Now we're doing a community garden.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're just getting started. We dropped these guys off the other day. Saba painted them.
Good to see you.
Okay, bye. Let me go grab a mask real quick.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're planning on doing a little community garden.
Oh, okay.
We just started, so it's kind of exciting. It's one of those things kind of in the works. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did you by chance happen to go to community development and ask them all the parameters about that first?
About doing the community garden?
Yeah.
Well, we have all the guidelines and everything. We have the business set up. We're basically going through the process, the nonprofit and everything.
Oh,
so
okay.
Everything's in the works. We have had this land for quite a while. I think Derrick's had it for several years now.
Oh, okay.
And so basically not having anything on it kind of was perfect for these guys to get in here. Basically nothing's done or set in stone. These guys are totally movable, but it's just, like I said, it's just starting. All the paperwork and stuff is in the works.
So this isn't going to be housing or anything?
Oh, no.
Okay.
It's basically going to be included as part of like the nonprofit side of things. So storage of the food that we grow and that sort of thing.
Oh, okay.
How's it going there?
Pretty good. How are you? Yeah, you know how things are in this neighborhood. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
you know, you put a stick in the middle of the dirt and everybody's gonna.
Oh, I know.
Which is fine.
I was waiting. We knew you'd be coming, so we figured there would be questions.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, like I said, we're kind of just getting the ball rolling. It's all coming together slowly. And
Okay.
as far as the permitting and all that sort of stuff, we're not really planning on building. You know, so like as far as what's going on here, it's just all going to be green and beautiful land that we hopefully can turn into something good for the community.
Okay. What? And the only reason I was saying, because if you want to protect yourself, what I would do is go to community development and
Okay.
let them know what you're going to do.
Oh, I see.
Because in this neighborhood, I guarantee you, every stick that you put in the ground, they're going to question.
Okay.
I can guarantee you that. And I'd rather you guys be within your approvals of the city, and that way you never have to deal with us. And we're not here to jam people up. It's just so you can do everything and not have any issues later after the fact.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because, you know, you're going to fall into... People are going to question the storage containers because it doesn't fall into the historic.
Absolutely.
You know, so they're going to say that, you know, they're building without a building permit, which is a complaint that we got.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's storage containers out there, and they're not placed within the way they're supposed to be within the zoning of the historic district.
I see.
The historic district has so many different rules that the rest of the city doesn't have. So that's why.
Do you have like a card for the city planner, or that way I can just call them directly?
Yeah,
and
that's what I would do.
Kind of make sure that we're all on the same page. And cool, thank you.
And let me get their direct extension so you're not playing phone
Cool,
tag.
thank you.
And then I'll put that on.
I'm in contact.
Huh?
I'm in contact with the city.
Yeah, but everything has to be permitted and set before you do anything. That way, if people complain, we're able to tell them, look, they have all their paperwork.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
But just because it's been started doesn't mean the city's going to approve it or not going to approve it. There's no parameters of what they're going to allow you to do, what they're not going to allow you to do. Like I told her, I'm not here to be the bad guy at all. You know, community gardens are cool. I mean,
Absolutely.
I just know that because it's a historic district, people are going to complain about everything you do.
Oh, totally.
Okay?
Yeah.
So
that sounds good. If I get that from you, and then if you think anything else, just maybe write it on there. But if it's just the extension, that sounds good.
yeah, I'll give you their whole number, and then that way you can call them, and then, because if you start putting like sticks up and stuff like that, especially in a clear sight triangle, you know, you got to be so many feet away from the stop sign, this way, and they'll be able to tell you all of that when you tell them what your grand plan is.
Yeah.
Because if you do it in sections, I mean, of course, you're not going to be able to do everything right off the bat, especially if it's nonprofit.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know, it's not like you're getting a bunch of money in and you're going to be able to do all this stuff. But, you know.
Okay, well, just to be on the same page with everyone, I think that'll be awesome. So, cool.
That way, you know, I put your address on there, the 646.
Yeah.
So what'll happen is if anybody can. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put on there that I did talk to you, and if it was okay with you, I'd like to put your name and number on there.
Okay.
That way, if there's any other questions, instead of having to play hide and seek, and it's like you getting a summons because they aren't able to get a hold, they can just call you. Hey, look at this is what the city told me. You guys need to adjust or whatever.
Sure. Yeah,
It's easier that way.
Let me see if Derrick wants you to have mine or his info.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or I can put both you guys, and it's just as contact,
Yeah,
nothing else.
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the permitting office, 528-3059. The guy that is, how can I say, he oversees all of community development, is Adam Ochoa.
Okay.
So if you have any issues, I would guarantee talking to him, once he says something, that's pretty much what it is.
Cool. Okay.
And I would do that before you put that sign there, because I can guarantee you that's not going to be with an ordinance.
Okay.
Whether you talk to him or not, that won't fly, especially right there on the corner.
Yeah, sounds good. So maybe I'll just give him a call right now before we
Before you put anything in.
before we keep going. If you wanna ask Derrick, he said he would like to be the
contact person?
If that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, it's like I said, it's just for contact purposes, because usually when we can't get a hold of anybody, that's when they start doing summons, and
Okay. Yeah, sounds
that's not
good.
a good.
There you go, Derrick.
Yeah, what I would do, sir, is I would just call Adam at that number, the one in the back. That's my card. He's the one that will tell you specifically what you're going to be allowed, or what you can and can't do, so you can stay within the ordinance. And in this neighborhood, you're going to have a lot of looky-loos. Do you live right there? Oh, okay. And what was your name, sir?
Derrick, Derrick.
I-C-K, and your last name?
Pacheco.
Pacheco?
Yes, sir.
And then do you want me to include a cell phone number or just your address?
Phone number is fine.
Okay.
602.
Cool. All right. And all I'm going to do is put it in the notes that I was here,
Okay.
because I guarantee more people are going to call. And that way, instead of them
in there.
coming back in there, they'll just let me, or they'll send it just to me, and then I can call you and let you know what the gist of it is. But even before you put the sign, I would call Adam, because especially that close to the stop sign, that's not going to. That's a whole traffic safety issue that won't fly. So.
Visibility triangle.
Yeah, because a clear sight triangle is usually, especially on the small road like this, and it might be different because of the street, but usually it's going to be 20 feet that way, 10 feet this way. The number of lanes and the speed limits also change that, but the bare minimum has always been 20 feet, 10 feet is
20,
what you're.
20 feet that way, 10 feet this way.
And it's not from the stop sign. When they measure it, it's from, let's just do a straight line right here, straight line right there. So it's 20 feet that way, 10 feet that way. That way you don't shortchange yourself. I think I have a measuring stick to measure it.
Yeah, it would look fine right here in front of in the middle of this. I guess if they don't trip out over the grounding.
Right. They give us these for the political signs.
Oh.
People.
What's the law on that? Same thing?
Well, on all the signs, it's the same. It's just we get more complaints about political signs than we do anything else. Yes, right there's your 20 feet.
Okay. That works for me.
But like I said, it is a historic district and everything's different. And
Oh yeah. And I just came from all the City of Phoenix historic
oh, okay.
preservation and adaptive reuse and neighborhood revitalization.
Yeah, and they're always trying to do that in this neighborhood.
Yeah.
So
That's what they told me. They basically told me there's no impact as long as the fire department said no fees on their end, then they're not going to charge me nothing on the city end of things.
yeah, for a business license.
For nothing. For a business license, it's different. I'll have the nonprofit license. But,
Yeah.
fire said.
Oh, but you're talking about like inspection fees and stuff
for
like
just
that.
the site plan and everything,
Yeah.
for development and anything. They said check with fire. Fire says if you're doing a garden,
Yeah.
nothing.
Well, the garden isn't the issue. What's going to be the issue is your sign placement and your containers.
Yeah.
That's what people complain about.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, get a hold of them before you start digging your holes. That way you don't get into, because you know, there's always going to be something. Because you got your 20 feet by 10 feet and it's got to clear 3 feet.
Here on the bottom, the visibility.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So that will help you too. That way you don't get any of those. Well, it's too low. You know?
Yeah.
As long as it's the height size, you're okay. But
Well, if I gotta move it, I gotta move it.
Yeah.
I gotta put the mailbox in because I got mail coming too. So.
okay. Yeah. All right. Well, have a good one, sir. Thank you.
Hello.
Hello, Mr. Ortega.
Yes, it is.
How you doing, sir? There's Officer Ontiveros with Codes Enforcement.
Oh, yes, I know.
I went by that address. It's right on the corner of Soledad and Mesquite Street.
Correct.
So I'm gonna have to follow up a little bit more with community development, because what they're doing is they're gonna build a community garden. They're not gonna build a house.
You
Those.
cannot have metal storage buildings in that area.
Well, see, that's what I need to check, because the historic district is a lot different from the other parts of the city.
There's two gentlemen that have tried to build porches, okay? Not connected to the wall, but they told them they cannot build them because as long as it have 10 on it, that you cannot build nothing within it because it's a historical area.
Right.
The other guys across the street, their complaint is that they have to remove a lot of old trucks because they had to. Something was wrong with codes that had to do with metal. Okay,
Right.
So they didn't build them. Another gentleman down the street would build a wall with a tin roof. They told me he had to take it off. You know, people are really mad because they saw these things here. And they come to me because since I love politics, first of all. But there's nothing I can do. I abide by the law just like everybody else should, including them.
Right.
There is no difference than them, me, or you. They have to go by the bylaws of the laws. So this is a historical area. And I know for a fact they should not have nothing done with metal.
Okay.
Okay? I'm not trying to tell you that I know everything because I don't. I'm far from it. But one thing I do know, I've been there all my life. And I know for a fact I know all these people. And that lot was recently bought not too long ago by the lady across the street. Her name's Maggie. But she's dying, you know, she's not in good health. But that was one of her grandkids that bought that, thinking that they can go in there and build whatever they can. And I even stopped the first people that were going to buy there from putting in a mobile home. And you can't do that either.
Right.
So if you can put a mobile home, which is practically the same thing as just things they're doing, you cannot put no metal in that area, period.
Okay.
But go ahead and find out. I'd like to know because what I'm afraid of is people are so angry right now at this project that's going on. First of all, they never gave out no variances. Second of all, they don't even talk to the people. And they don't know what they want to do. And, you know, people get angry over this because they were stopped by doing what they wanted to do.
Right.
And, you know, it's only common sense. Say hi to your neighbors, just, you know, whatever. Maybe you might be able to get something done. But the way they're going about it, no.
Right. No,
You know,
I totally agree with you, sir. And I understand your guys' frustration. The only thing that you know, being a uniformed officer is I have to see it on black and white that they're not allowed to do that as far as those containers before I can make them stop. So that's what I'm going to go check really quick.
But what's going to happen when you find out that they cannot put? I don't want you to go to them and tell them, sorry, too far along the line. Just go ahead and do what you're going to do. No, they're metal containers. That's the bottom line. That's a complaint.
First of all, sir, I already told them that they shouldn't be doing anything because they don't have permits for anything. So
what they say.
Well, like I'm explaining to you, they're under the understanding that it's just a community garden, and I told them I understand that, but you still have to go through community development and get everything approved before you just start doing that, because this is a historic district.
They don't understand that they do not make the rules and regulations in the city of Las Cruces.
Right.
They have to stop. Okay. Let's say, they build a trench. A little kid goes by there. Okay. Bam. He falls in the trench. What's going to happen? No permit, no nothing. They're going to get sued.
Right. Then
there comes the problem that I've had to run out a couple of transients here because they try to get into one of them things, and I kicked them out. So we're looking at that part too.
Right.
And it's causing a nuisance, and I don't want no hassles between them and us, and they should stop what they're doing because they're going to start a war, and we don't want that. They have to give us a variance. We've never given a variance.
Right. Yeah, let me make sure and get everything tidy-ended on my end before I do any kind of enforcement. And I'm just trying to protect myself,
Exactly.
So, but once I find out, I have no problem calling you back and letting you know, sir.
Thank you, sir, very much. I appreciate it, but just do me a favor and don't be like the others and don't call back. You know what I mean?
Oh, no, sir. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to call you back until I find something out, but I will call you back.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome, sir.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hi, Christina. How are you? This is Javier over at Codes.
I'm doing well. How are you?
Pretty good. I have a question for you. Hopefully, you can help me. So, on the corner of Mesquite and Soledad, which is in that Mesquite historic area, there's a vacant lot that somebody just bought, and they're I guess in the process of building a community garden.
Okay.
And they
did call about that.
Okay, and they brought in some of those overseas metal containers.
Okay.
And set them up, I guess, for storage, and that's where they're going to put the fruits of their labor and whatever else they're going to do. And the neighbors here are having an uprising over that. Are they within their, like, for the historic district, are they allowed to do that?
No. Not as far as I know. Let me, I'm not 100% familiar with it. I can transfer you to Kyle, because that would be a planning question to see if it's compliant since they do that area.
Okay.
So I don't know specifically what the rules are related to the historical district, but still, they would have to obtain a permit to put those containers on their property, even if it is temporary.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Just want to make sure. Okay.
So if that's when the verification would be done to make sure that it is compliant.
Yeah, because the guy that's here told me that he already went over there and he was told that as long as fire didn't have an issue, it was okay. And I was that doesn't sound right at all. So
no, that's not correct. He would have to get a permit. Honestly, if he talked to one of the planners, they may have directed him that way. And I don't know if it's different. How big are the containers? Are they larger than 120 square feet?
You know what? I'd have to measure them, but I know there's two. They're not the big semi ones. They're half of a semi size, which is 25 feet long, I think, by whatever it is wide. So it is probably going to be bigger.
If they're under 120 feet, they wouldn't need anything because they would be considered a structure that is under 120 square feet. And they could have the two on there while they do the work that they're doing.
Okay.
If it's larger than 120, then they would have to get a permit even if it was being utilized for a temporary basis.
Okay.
And that would be for the building part of it.
Right. Yeah, I don't know what they've submitted to. They said they already submitted everything that they needed to, but to me, it doesn't look like it. He's very nonchalant when I talk to him about it.
Yeah, because I had a person call and he kept asking, but he talked to one of the planners. That's what I'm saying. I'm thinking they may have given him the information that he would be good based off of the measurements that he provided them.
Oh, okay.
Because John came up to me and he asked me if they're doing a community garden, is a permit required for the landscaping portion of it? And I told him no. And then he said, but if it's going to be used for the public, is there any special requirements that we put into place? And I told him not for the building part of it. I said that would be more like a landscaping type of issue, and he's the one that does the landscaping. So he was going to check with Kathy Matthews to see if there's anything that needed to be required. The answer on that was no, because it's private property.
Okay.
So I don't know what information the planners gave him. I'm thinking they gave him consistent with what I'm telling you. If it's 120, they don't need anything. If it's over 120, they should have applied for a permit.
Even if it's just to temporary storage?
Even if it's temporary storage, that does not make a difference, because we need to make sure that it's not going to impede egress in the event of a fire to any of the locations. We also have to verify that it meets the setback, so that it's the 15 feet back, so it's not obstructing the view of traffic. There's a lot of little things that we do look at when we receive those plan sets. If it's under 120, it's not regulated, so there's nothing that we would be validating on that per se.
For
we
the
would just make sure
setbacks?
it wasn't on an easement if somebody reported it.
Okay. Gotcha. Okie doke. Well, I guess let me ask him if it's okay if I measure him, because they're on his property and I don't want him to get upset. But if he told everybody the same information, then I guess we'd be good. Yeah, the neighbors, I guess, because they've been told to remove carports and in-ops are mad because of these metal containers, which, you know.
Which I completely understand, because I would be upset if I were in that position too.
Yeah.
And those containers aren't staying there forever. It's just for him to start to do the work, correct?
No, he said that they were gonna use them to put their tools and their fruits of their labor and stuff like that. So from what I understand, they're gonna stay here, because one of them it's set up for air conditioning too. It's got like a window air conditioner.
Yeah, I don't see how that would have been approved. No, I would just let him know that he needs to come through the permitting office, and that he would need to speak with Adam to see what needs to be done for that building to be compliant, because you cannot have an accessory structure for a permanent. Like, he can't put it on an empty parcel of property without there being a house. That would be the exception to the rule would be if they were using it just to start to the community garden and then them being removed once the garden was completed. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And if it's going to be permanent fixtures there has to be a dwelling on that parcel.
Yeah, he says it's just going to be the community garden, and that the girl that I talked to said that they were going to stay there, but they're movable. So, yeah.
They're going to have to remove them after they get everything set up. They can't keep them there. They can have like a little tool shed, and I'm going to say little, like 120 square feet, but they can't exceed, because in order to have an accessory structure, they base that off of the size of the dwelling and the size of the lot. If there's no dwelling there, there's zero footage that is allotted for an accessory structure.
Yeah, there's no plans whatsoever to put a dwelling here. And he's already putting up a sign when I told him not to, but okay.
Yeah, so no, he's just doing whatever he wants to. He needs to stop. So what I can do is, if you want, just go out there and tell him that he needs a permit. Do you know what the address is by chance? Let me look and see if I have anything in the system. No, he hasn't applied for anything, so he hasn't asked for it to go through design review or anything. So he does need to come in and get everything up to date with us. He's going to need to talk to Adam in reference to the accessory structures that he's wanting to put on the unit or on the parcel. And then just to make sure that what he's wanting to put there will even meet the requirements, because they can't be single, how would you explain them, like mobile modular buildings, the single whites?
Right.
They can't be single whites. They have to be a double wide. They'd have to be stuccoed. They have to meet a specific requirement.
Yeah.
And that's the information that planning should have given him. So I don't know what John told him, and John's not in today. I would have to get with John when he comes in tomorrow. And then what I can do is I can give you a call back and let you know what specifically he told him, because I'm just making assumptions and I really don't know. So let me talk to John and then I can call you back. What's your phone number?
575? Yeah, there's all sorts of people just standing around here looking, and they are like not happy.
Okay, community. That was the community garden, huh?
Yeah. So it's a corner of Mesquite and Soledad.
And then if you want to, for right now, just tell him that you need to see what the size of those structures are, because if they're over 120 square feet, they do require a city permit, and then you can reference them to me. Okay. And then I'll get with John tomorrow, get the information of what he provided to the customer, and then I can let you know what was discussed on that part.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay.
And we'll go from there. Sounds good.
Sounds good. You have a great day.
You too, ma'am. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey, Derrick, do you know how big those things are?
Yeah, they're less than 200 square feet.
They have to be less than 120.
120?
Not 200.
When was that? They're 8 by 20.
They're 8 by 20?
Yeah.
So who'd you talk to yesterday? Because I just called over there and they said they didn't finalize anything.
I didn't talk to anyone yesterday.
Who have you talked to?
Over the last couple of years, planning.
Oh, last couple of years, so it hasn't been, because she told me it was recent.
Yeah, we just put these boxes here last week.
Yeah, anything over 120 has to be permitted.
Okay, so we'll get a permit for it.
Yeah, that's what I would do. That way you guys don't run into any issues.
And then what about the other containers in the neighborhood that are over 120?
Which ones are we talking about? That way I can go take a look at those too.
One down the street has been there probably 30 years.
Where?
On the other side of Mesquite. 4 blocks down before for the next major intersection.
Before the next major intersection?
Yeah, I forget what that is. What's that next light?
The next light from here is Idaho?
Idaho. There's just a block this way off Idaho.
On which side? On the right side? I'll go look at that.
It's been there 30 years plus.
Yeah. Yeah, you're gonna keep getting a lot of complaints, and last thing I want you to do is get jammed up with anything. Because I just talked to her, and she said that's what she told me about the size. It has to be less than 120 to not need a permit.
Okay.
But
there's a permit for the temporary structure.
Yeah. Because are they gonna stay when you're done?
No.
Okay, they're just temporary while you do. Okay.
Sheds.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I just, like I said, I know people are gonna complain. I mean, they're gonna complain. So I'd rather you guys be permitted and good to go.
For sure.
And then the guy that they told me overlooks the planning for these is John. So when you go tomorrow, you can talk to either John or whenever you go. But the sooner the better.
Okay.
Especially so you can get those two permitted. Okay. Sounds good. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.